Reading without stopping or editing. There will be mistakes. A Nancy Drew story. The Secret of the Old Clock. 1930s version. Chapter 7. Nancy turns sleuth. While Nancy Drew eagerly waited, scarcely daring to breathe naturally, lest her presence be detected, Ada began to speak. Well, if there should happen to be another will, we may be dumped, she said sourly. I don't believe Josiah Crowley ever made such a will, Isabel replied in so low a tone that Nancy scarcely caught the words. Evidently Nancy Drew does, or she wouldn't be taking such an interest in those Horner girls, Ada returned. I know she had them at her house last week, because I was passing and I saw them go in. How I hate that girl! If she should get interested, he might dig up another will. Even if another will does turn up, we can trust Dad to take care of it, Isabel commented dryly. You mean he would? Never mind what I mean, Isabel insinuated darkly. Mother and Dad wouldn't be simple enough to let that money get away from us. It's ours by right anyhow. Didn't Josiah Crowley live with us? Live on us? Yes. We ought to have all the money after enduring him for nearly 3 years. Just the same, I don't like the way Nancy Drew has taken up with the Horner girls. She always did have a way of nosing into things. She has no business to find out. Oh, pooh for her, Isabel scoffed. Let her try to discover anything she likes. The money was given to us fairly enough. The conversation ended abruptly as Isabel and Ada arose from the bench and walked on down the street. Nancy waited until they were out of sight and then emerged from the bushes. There may be a chance to find that missing will after all, she reasoned as she sank down on the bench vacated by Isabel and Ada. Nancy had always been convinced that Josiah Crowley had made a second will. However, since her talk with the Horner girls, she had shared her father's opinion that the document had fallen into the hands of the Tophams only to be destroyed. This conviction had discouraged her. Now the information which she had gleaned from the snatch of overhead conversation gave her new hope. From what Isabel and Ada had said, she was led to believe that if Josiah Crowley had made a second will, the Tophams were as ignorant as herself regarding the whereabouts. Anyway, it's encouraging to know that the will hasn't been destroyed, Nancy told herself. But there's one thing certain. If the Tophams ever get their hands on it, they'll take care it never comes to light. From what Isabel and Ada said, I judge they're beginning to realize their position is anything but secure. If I'm ever to find that will, I must get busy before they beat me to it. Nancy possessed her father's liking for a mystery, and she delighted in a battle of wits when championing a worthy cause. Carson Drew had often remarked that he enjoyed the detective work of his cases better than the court work, but Nancy knew that he was too busy with his own cases to devote much attention to the missing Crowley will. If anything were done to help the Horner girls win their inheritance, she must accomplish it herself. As Nancy reviewed the facts of the case, it seemed to her that she must have overlooked a possible clue. Never had a mystery appeared more baffling. For nearly 10 minutes, Nancy sat lost in deep thought. Then, with a cry of delight, she sprang to her feet. How stupid for me not to think of it before! The Horner girls aren't the only ones who should have figured in the will. There were a number of relatives, and Father said that they filed a claim too. I wonder who they are. If I could talk with them, it's possible I might learn something that would have a bearing on the case. Convinced that the inspiration was a happy one, she set off towards her father's office. He was engaged in an important conference when she arrived, and Nancy was forced to wait 10 minutes before she was admitted to the inner office. Now what? Her father asked, smiling as she burst in upon him. Is it a new dress you want? Nancy's cheeks were flushed and her eyes danced with excitement. "Don't try to tease me," she protested. "I stumbled upon something important, and I want information." "At your service, Nancy," Mr. Drew said. "But if it's that Crowley case, I've told you everything I know." Nancy poured out the story of her encounter with the Topham sisters in the department store and told of the conversation overheard in the park. Mr. Drew listened with interest until she had finished. "And now what is it that you want?" he said gravely. "I thought if I went to those other relatives, I might be able to learn something which may help solve the mystery." "A good idea, Nancy. But I don't know their names, and that's why I came to you." "I wish I could help you, but I'm afraid I can't," Mr. Drew said regretfully. Nancy's face fell. "Wait a minute," he called as she turned to leave. "I can't supply the names you want, but I think I can tell you where to find them." "Where?" "At the courthouse. They should be on file." He glanced at his watch and frowned. "But I'm afraid it's too late to go there this afternoon." "Oh, and I'm anxious to find out right away," Nancy declared in disappointment. "If I delay even a single day, the Tophams might get ahead of me and find that will." Suddenly, her face brightened as she thought of something. "I know. I'll jump in the roadster and run out and have a talk with the Horner girls. They should be able to furnish me the information." "You can try them at least." "That's just what I'll do," Nancy decided as she turned again towards the door. "Just a minute," Carson Drew stopped her. "I wonder if you realize just what you're getting into, Nancy." "Why, what do you mean?" "Only this. Detective work isn't always the safest occupation in which to engage. I happen to know that Richard Topham is an unpleasant man when crossed. If you actually succeed in learning anything which may help the Horner girls, you're certain to have the Tophams in your wool." "I'm not afraid of them, Father." "Good!" Mr. Drew exclaimed. "I was hoping you'd say that. I'm glad you have the courage of your convictions. But I didn't want you to march off into battle without a knowledge of what, undoubtedly, you will be up against." "Battle?" "Yes, battle. Rest assured the Tophams won't give up the fortune without a bitter struggle. However, if they attempt to make serious trouble, I promise to deal with them myself. I only wish I had the time to help you find the will. And if I find it, I'll take the matter into court." "Oh, thank you. There's no one like you in the world." Nancy moved towards the door. "I may not get back until rather late," she threw back over her shoulder. "I have a feeling I may discover a real clue today, and if I do, I'm going to trail it down." With characteristic impetuosity, she darted from the room, permitting the office door to bang behind her.